Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Maria, and you are listening to the Energy of Money podcast. I am so glad you're here today. Today, we're going to be looking at something that I don't think I've ever talked about in any great depth. It has to do with the energy of relationship. Now, you may have heard me say many times that there are actually 6 forms of energy that you and I have to learn how to use to make whatever it is we want to happen in life actually happen. And these 6 forms of energy are: number 1, money. Remember, money is a form of energy. It's neither good, bad, or right nor wrong. It's nothing. It's just energy. It's like electricity. You can use it to light up a whole house, or you can get shocked with this electric. It's how you use it that counts. Then there's the energy of time. And I know you've heard me say time and again that time and money are linked, because the two things that people usually tell me for why they haven't gotten what it is they truly want to have is, well, I didn't have the time to go after it, or I didn't have the money. The third form of energy is the energy of physical vitality, which means having a relationship with your body that allows you to be here in as good a shape as possible so that you can do what it is for you to do in your lifetime. Then there's the energy of creativity. And we know that creativity has to do with learning how to creatively get around the inevitable obstacles that are going to face you every time you want to put something from the realm of ideas into the realm of physical reality. Then there's the energy of enjoyment. And we know that whatever it is you truly enjoy, you tend to do best at. When I talk with people about the work that they're doing, I'll either say to them, look, do you enjoy your work? And if they say not really, my next question is, well, you have a choice, either to seek another job or look within this employment at some things that you, because you are willing to, can enjoy. Because it really has to do with us looking for these nuggets of enjoyment. They don't just happen to us, folks. You have to look to see, is what I'm doing in keeping with my closely held internal values? Because if it is, find these nuggets of enjoyment. And finally, the energy of relationship. Now, there's been so many studies now that are out on what makes for a happy life and actually what contributes to longevity. I've been reading articles in the New York Times that talk about the value of having relationships. There's a woman by the name of Claudia Glosser-Musin, who's a psychotherapist in New York City. She says that hearing the sound of a loved one's voice is emotionally regulating. Now, what does emotional regulation really mean? Let me talk to you now from the side of a psychologist, not as a coach. As you probably know by now, I'm a PhD psychologist as well as a master certified coach. So let me be a psychologist for a moment. Emotional regulation means that you have a chance to really calm down, to begin to see the good in life instead of the negative or that which causes us anxiety. And you and I know that there are so many things going on now on the world stage and here in our own country that could give rise to anxiety just one or two of these issues happening. And now we're experiencing so much worldwide that there are so many opportunities to get anxious. And hearing the sound of a loved one's voice tends to lower our anxiety. Did you know that? And what they're saying is that you don't have to spend a long time talking with your loved one. They're talking about, for example, having an 8-minute conversation with someone you love. 8 minutes. They say that there's an example here of a woman who got a hold of a best friend that she hadn't spoken to in years, someone that she'd known most of her life. And she said to this woman, "Can we have an 8-minute conversation just to catch up?" And the woman texted back, "What are you talking about, 8 minutes?" And her friend said, just let's try this out. We'll have a hard stop at 8 minutes. Now, the psychologists have said that saying to the person, "Let's have a hard stop at 8 minutes," avoids a certain pitfall. And that is, let's say one of you wants to keep going in a conversation and the other one of you is busy and you wish we would stop, but there's no limit. So it kind of peters out. But if you say an 8-minute hard stop, you both know that you're going to get the conversation done in that period of time. And researchers have said you would be surprised at how much you can catch up with a person if the two of you know that you have 8 minutes together. Isn't that amazing? So the researchers, I'm quoting here, researchers have looked at, in a 2021 study, they looked at 932 conversations between pairs of people and found that they almost never ended with both people wanting them to end at the same time. Some preferred to continue while others felt that the interaction dragged on too long. So once again, having a hard stop at 8 minutes. So how does that affect you? And how might that affect your relationship with all these other forms of energy, including the energy of money? Well, let's look at it. If you were to take out a page in your journal and make a list of people in some different categories in your life. First of all, people at work. Now, it could be people that you're currently working with, or let's say people that you used to work with, but one or both of you have moved on to a different job and you've wanted to keep in touch and you haven't been able to. So make a list of some of those people who you know in your heart of hearts you'd really feel a lot better just to have an 8-minute conversation with them. Then look at old friendships. Now, I don't mean friendships of old people necessarily, but friendships that you've had for at least 5 years or more. Maybe people you haven't been in touch with who you know you'd love to. I have a WhatsApp partnership with someone that I have known for 45 years. And the other day, knowing that she was probably facing a crisis in her family, because I'd heard it through friends of friends, I just wrote to her in WhatsApp, "Can we have a conversation?" Now, this time I said 10 minutes, but she was so happy to do that. And we got together and talked just for 10 minutes. At the end of which she said, "Maria, I'm so glad you called me. It just warms my heart that you reached out to me like this. It meant so much to me. I had no idea. But when I heard that, it almost made me teary inside. You know, there's this old saying, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. You know, that's why we're calling this the gold, the hidden gold of relationship. Well, I'll tell you, just speaking to her made my whole day. I felt so much better. It was amazing. Make another list of people who you've met, maybe over the past few weeks or months, or at the very longest, over the past year. Can you think of at least one or two people in that category that you know having an 8 or 10-minute conversation, no more, might really nurture the two of you? So you have a couple of different categories, don't you? And what if you were to promise yourself to reach out to at least one person in each category? The one that I forgot. Relatives, relatives you haven't spoken with. Oh, my heavens. You know, I was talking to a young woman from the Philippines who she was uh, a server at a very well-known hotel. And I was having my breakfast there. And she was saying how she had just moved to the United States about 4 or 5 months ago because she followed her husband, who got a good job here, but she didn't know anybody. And she was feeling very lonely. I talked to her for a few moments and I said, well, who back in the Philippines could you talk to? I mean, even having a 10-minute conversation with them would make you feel so great. So right then and there, you know, coaching every hour of the day, it seems like, she made a list of 3 people that she promised me and herself that she was going to call within the next 2 days. Now, I haven't heard from that woman, but I can bet that if she did it, she felt more at home being in San Francisco than she had at any time prior to that moment. So, what have you promised yourself to get in touch with at least 1 or 2 people in each of these categories? You know, every time I think of it, I think of my Aunt Gloria, my 94-year-old aunt, who once again still remembers me as a baby. You know, the one who says, "Oh, you're so cute," every time she sees me still. And every time I call her, I feel wonderful. As a matter of fact, I promise that I'm going to call her before the end of today. Just being here on this podcast with you see, is getting me in touch with a relationship, a phone call that I'm sure would make her feel better, but it would sure do the world for me. Now, you might ask, how does this in any way, shape, or form affect my relationship with money? Well, one of the things I know after working with people for these many years is that when we feel lonely or sad or confused in any way, we tend to go into something called retail therapy, don't we? We tend to want to buy something to cheer ourselves up. Come on. I can imagine some of you are saying, oh, no, this never happens to me. Yes, it does. Look at all the times, whether it's buying that extra coffee at a well-known place or a little tchotchke at the checkout stand of your market just to feel better. I'm not feeling so good today. I deserve to have this little thing, and you throw it in the shopping cart and you go home and you open the cart and the bag and you say, what did I spend this money on? Well, instead of using money to feel better, especially because when you try to do it that way, it doesn't last, does it? No, it doesn't last. What if you instead began to reach out and be in touch with people in which for yourself, it will lift your hopes and nurture your spirit, and it'll probably do the same for them. How about it? Why don't you try it, at least over the next couple of weeks? And notice, if you were to keep a journal, notice in that journal, do I feel better? Am I tending to spend a little less on things that I normally buy to cheer myself up? Try it out. You can always let me know at marianemeth.com. I love to hear from you. So tell me what you think. For now, this is Dr. Maria saying, we have gold in so many places, especially in our relationships. Keep nurturing them, okay? Because in the end, you'll be nurturing yourself as well. See you next time. Bye for now.